Hello everyone, welcome back to Pill Talk. Today we will discuss about the intricate mechanisms that facilitate molecular transport that are essential for maintaining cellular homeostasis. So the basic mechanism of transport. The transport of substances across the cell membrane occurs through two basic mechanisms. Number one is passive transport, which doesn't require energy, and active transport, which depends on cellular energy and mainly ATP. Now let's discuss about passive transport. So passive transport involves the movement of substances along a concentration or electrochemical gradient. So it is commonly referred to as diffusion or downhill movement, as it doesn't require energy. So types of diffusion. So diffusion occurs in two ways: simple diffusion, which happens directly through the lipid or protein layers, and facilitated diffusion, which involves carrier proteins. First one is the simple diffusion through lipid layer. So the lipid layer of the membrane allows only lipid-soluble substances such as oxygen, carbon dioxide, and alcohol to pass through. So the rate of diffusion is directly proportional to the lipid solubility of the substance. And the next one is the simple diffusion through protein layer. So the protein layer of the cell membrane is permeable to water-soluble substances such as electrolytes. Specialized protein channels allow these molecules to bypass the lipid layer. So under the heading of simple diffusion through protein layer, let's just discuss about types of protein channels. So protein channel exhibit selective permeability, allowing only specific ions like sodium or potassium to pass through. So these channels can be further classified as gated or ungated. So if we talk about regulation of the channels, so some of the protein channels are continuously opened and most of the channels are always closed. So continuously open channels are called ungated channels and the closed channels are called gated channels. So these channels are open only when required. So gated channels are open or closed in response to specific triggers such as voltage changes, binding of a ligand, or mechanical stimuli. So they are named as voltage gated channels, ligand gated channels, or mechanically gated channels. If we talk about facilitated diffusion, it involves carrier proteins that help transport larger water-soluble molecules across the membrane. So despite the assistant, this process doesn't require energy. So next is the factors affecting the rate of diffusion. If we talk about the rate of diffusion, that is influenced by several factors, including the permeability of the membrane, temperature, concentration gradient, and the size and the charge of the molecules or ions. So these are the 8 factors that are affecting the rate of diffusion. You can take a screen snap of that. There are also some special types of passive transports. So other forms of passive transports include bulk flow, filtration, and osmosis. So each crucial for different physiological process in the body. So our next mechanism is active transport mechanism. Unlike passive transport, active transport requires energy to move substance against their concentration or electrochemical gradient. So it's like swimming against the tide. So it is also called as uphill transport. So active transport differs from facilitated diffusion in two main ways. So it requires energy and it moves substances against the gradient, whereas facilitated diffusion moves along the gradient without energy. So if we talk about the carrier proteins that involve in active transport, there are of two types: uniport, or number 2 is symport or antiport. So uniport is the one that transport one substance at one time, and symport or antiport are the one that transport two substances at one time. So symport is the one that transfer the substances in same direction, and antiport is the one that transfer the substances in opposite direction. So if we talk about types of active transport, so active transport is categorized into primary active transport, which directly uses ATP, and secondary active transport, which relies on the electrochemical gradient created by primary transport. Just like passive transport, there are also special categories of active transport. So specialized active transport mechanisms include endocytosis, pinocytosis, phagocytosis, exocytosis, and transcytosis. It allows the cell to manage large molecules and particles. And with this, thank you so much for exploring with me the mechanism of molecular movement across the cell membrane. So I hope this presentation deepened your understanding of this fundamental cellular process. Thank you for watching. Stay healthy and stay informed.